Interesting, because I was reading this morning. I was trying to, well, I almost told Ken about better understanding electronic transfer through external polymer substances. So basically what this is the biofilm on the outside of the cell. And there's a couple different ways that electrons can transfer. One is direct cellular contact, and the other is called tunneling, which is basically bouncing the electron through the biofilm to the surface where it can directly transfer. And so that's why I asked that question, because, you know, the food or the previous thought was, oh, fuck, you know, those biofilms fuck up the ability for that cell to transfer or steal or donate electrons. And then the reality of the fact is, you know, based on that paper, no, that's not true. It just happens a different way. There's not a loss of signal. There's not a length of time that prevented it. It's just a different pathway. So that's why I asked, because you're vibration, not electron. And so, and I may be wrong on this, but I think it's proton is the source of vibration. That might be too deep off the charts.
Well, I will say this. It's been discovered that the signaling system of the cellular structure in a biological system happens through the fascia, and it happens almost at the speed of light. So it's not even an electron transfer. It's a signaling system that operates at a photonic level, not even an electron. Electron is not the same as a photon.
Yep.
And so a signal can travel through photonic transfer when the cells are aligned. So again, if the cells are misaligned, that photon is not going to necessarily transfer the way it should. When they're all aligned, that photonic communication network within the biological system will happen almost instantaneously.
And again, it's photonic, not protonic.
Yeah, right. So a photon is a piece of energy, the light energy that gets released when, usually when either a neutron splits into a proton and electron, it'll be a photon of energy. That's the nuclear power reaction, where the photons become the energy particles that are released. It can also be through a biochemical process or a biophysical process, but that's the energy that's released in there. That's the photon.
Perfect. Great explanation. Because that's, you know, again, it's people get confused between photons, protons, electrons. You know?
Right.
And then down all the way to the subatomics, which gets really fucking wild. But we're not going there today. So you basically explained that there is very little that can disrupt this process. Is there anything that I've missed that can disrupt your technology?
Yeah, there's certain we haven't identified all of them yet, but there are certain chemicals that do seem to nullify or make our system either inactive or less effective. Glyphosate seems to be one, unfortunately, with all the corn farmers using it still. We've noticed corn farmers telling us that they were seeing the best year they've ever seen. You know, the plants looked greener, they were healthier. He was looking forward to an amazing season. And then they crop dusted his field in addition to his neighbor's fields with glyphosate, and it just froze everything, froze his whole field. And so basically, like, it just withered. And I think he's still going to get a crop, but it's going to be nothing like what he was expecting before that happened. And our system is just not enough because he didn't have Roundup ready corn. So, of course, it killed. They had another farmer that was growing alfalfa, and he planted millet. And he said it came through, his guy came through and sprayed a few days later. Well, normally he can get away with that with an herbicide, because normally the seeds do not sprout quick enough to where they emerge out of the soil, right? With our system, we increase that germination speed, so the seeds actually germinated and emerged out of the soil faster than they normally did. And so when this guy sprayed with herbicide, it basically killed half of the seeds that he had on our treated area. Yeah. So, and he was just like, I'm like, well, I guess our system worked. Unfortunately for you, it didn't produce a good result for you, because we didn't know you were going to spray a couple days after. Like, that